Use the coupon code Magic Untapped on RogueEnergy.com and save 10% off of your order. A few years ago, Magic the Gathering players were introduced to the legendary card Jodah, Archmage Eternal. But who is this Jodah guy, and what's with this Archmage Eternal moniker? Well, to answer that, we have to go back a long ways in Magic the Gathering lore and history, back to the year 413 AR. That's 413 years after the Silex Blast that concluded the Brothers' War between Urza and Mishra. And back to Jeff Grubb's 1999 novel, The Gathering Dark.
Who is it? Who is this?
Who is it?
Who is this?
Who is it?
Jodah was born into a wealthy family on the Dominarian continent of Tertiaire. He was a direct descendant of the brothers Urza and Mishra, his family line having been founded by Urza and his wife Kyla bin Krug. As Jodah aged, however, climate change began to take hold of the world as ever-shortening summers, and his family's over-farming of their land began to eat at their wealth. When Jodah was just a young man, his family had to abandon their estate, and Jodah, soon after, found himself as the apprentice to a wandering mage. The mage granted Jodah a magical mirror that would play a major role in the apprentice's life down the road. The two were captured by the Church of Tal, the region's dominant religion, which held the belief that the use of magic was, at its nature, evil. Eventually, Jodah and his master, Vaska, made their separate escapes, with Jodah hoping to reunite with the wandering mage. While in search, he found himself in need of escape from a band of goblins. Jodah submerged himself in a nearby, long-abandoned town fountain to hide, unaware that its enchanted waters would slow his aging to a crawl. Eventually, Jodah would learn that Vaska had been hunted down and slain by the church. His master now deceased, Jodah traveled with another mage, Sima, to the City of Shadows on the island of Latnam. It's a secret town and training grounds for mages. On the way there, however, Jodah was captured by a band of merfolk who wound up trading him to the Ragman in exchange for a coral helm. Leading Jodah through a nearby safe haven and a subsequent maze, he takes him to the Conclave of Mages, which is a citadel built atop the ruins of the Brothers' War-era monastery of Gix, and is the only other location in the land that acts as a refuge for the continent's persecuted mages. At this point, Jodah was just happy to be around fellow mages who could teach him their ways. He completed a trial that the Conclave's ruler, Marcel, had set up for him, and he found himself welcomed into the secluded community. What Jodah didn't realize, however, was that the Ragman was sent not by Marcel, but by Lord Ith, the now former leader of the Conclave whom Marcel the Pretender had imprisoned over a bottomless pit located at the base of the building. Ith saw in Jodah great potential, and Marcel has hopes of tapping into Jodah's unrealized talents to open a planar portal to the Dark Lands, a place that we would later learn to be Phyrexia, where Marcel believes he can grow to be an all-powerful spellcaster. Before the Pretender can get all of his plans in motion, however, the Conclave of Mages was discovered and assaulted by the Church of Tal. Along with Sima, who had tracked Jodah down after his kidnapping, the Ragman brought Jodah to the Citadel's underbelly where his master, Lord Ith, had been imprisoned. They free the elderly Ith. They notice he's gone quite mad during his time in the cage that the artificer, Barl, had constructed above the ancient, never-ending pit. The mad Lord of the Conclave goes on a murderous rampage that results in the death of not just his Ragman serpent, but also of Marcel. In the end, Jodah manages to bring Ith back to his senses by using the magical mirror his original mentor, Vaska, had given him. Outside of the Citadel, the Conclave of Mages manages to force the Church of Tal into retreat. The Conclave itself, however, is in ruins. Rather than rebuild, Ith decides to venture out and travel the land. The remaining Conclave of Mages travel with Jodah and Sima to Latnam and join the City of Shadows.
And that's where we're going to leave things off for now. Next month, we'll catch back up with an older and wiser Jodah at the City of Shadows and see what happens to him over the next couple thousand years. Told you his aging was slow to a crawl. If you like this video, please remember to support and subscribe Magic Untapped here on YouTube. Throw a buck in our Patreon tip jar as well if you think of it. Thank you for watching.